Hey guys, it's Christy. I'm here with an extra special video for you today because I am the August guest designer for Sweet Stamp Shop. I'm going to be bringing you videos and card projects all month long using Sweet Stamp Shop products. And these are the 4 stamp sets that I'm going to be using. They're super cute. They've got a great summertime vibe. This one is called Ahoy. Super cute. Love the little parrot right there. Ahoy there, matey is the sentiment, and R, that's really cute. Can't wait to use that one. I also am going to be using Beach Bum. This one features this cute little beach shack, and then there's the ball and the sandcastle. Bunch of fun images, and then you've got waves, beach, sun, and sand. This one here is called Sail Away, and it's got some great summertime sentiments and also sentiments that can be used all year round, actually. And then this one is called Fishy, and it's got some great fish theme stamps. I am in love with this shark. My youngest brother dives with sharks. That's his lifelong passion, and all my sons, they love sharks as well because they associate that with him. So I use sharks all the time, and I am really excited to use that stamp set. So today though, we're going to be using the Beach Shack from Beach Bum and a sentiment from Sail Away. So I've got those mounted on some acrylic blocks here, and I'm going to be doing some watercoloring with distress markers. So I'm going to be using VersaFine Onyx Black. You want to use any ink that is not water-based. You don't want to use your Tuxedo Memento, for example, because that would smear with your watercoloring. So I'm going to get that inked up, and I'm going to stamp this down in somewhere towards the lower left-hand side. Okay. And then I'm going to take the little sand pebbles that come in that set. It's like just these little dots that make really cute grains of sand. And I'm going to stamp a variety of those, kind of just in a random pattern. And that's all I'm going to do. Now we're going to move on to watercoloring with our distress markers. So I'm going to start by taking some of this frayed burlap, and I'm going to scribble it right out onto my block, and I'm going to add a little bit of vintage photo to that right next to it so I can have some lights and darks. And I'm going to take just a fine paintbrush and dip it in some water that I have off to the side here, and I'm going to start picking up some of that color and then painting in my little shack here. I am just obsessed with watercoloring right now. It's really hot in the crafting industry, and it's especially great for these beachy summertime cards because it's just reminiscent of the ocean, and you know, it has that really soft watery look. So I'm just painting that in where I want my darkest shades, and then adding water and blending that out where I want my lighter colors to go. That way I get a nice variation. Trying to go for that kind of weathered look, weathered wood, like it would be if it was sitting out all the time by the lake, or by the water, I mean, ocean. I live by a lake, so that's where we go to the beach, but you know, this could be anywhere. Alright, now I'm going to take some of that vintage photo, and I'm going to mix it up with the rest of that frayed burlap on my palette there, and then I'm going to even darken up some of those boards towards the bottom. And then I'll just add some water to blend that out. Add some shading up here under the roof. The great thing about watercolors, they're very forgiving. And especially in the crafting industry, there's just so many ways to watercolor. You can do your distress pads, you can do the markers like I'm doing today, and then there's just so many different variations of watercolors on the market as well. So if it's a technique that you have not given a try, I highly recommend it. It's just really liberating to be able to just kind of go with the flow, especially if you're someone who's more of a perfectionist like I am. Watercoloring, you know, it's okay to go outside of the lines. It's okay to make mistakes, or they're not really mistakes though. You get a lot of happy accidents, and as Bob Ross used to say. And just kind of darkening up the roof to give it some contrast there. Mixing some black soot in there with the vintage photo. And then if that gets too dark, you can go ahead and lift some of that off with a dried out baby wipe or paper towel. I'm going to add a little bit more of this frayed burlap and a touch more of the vintage photo for my door here. Make sure I have enough. It's the other thing I really like about distress markers is you can always go back and scribble some more on. There's not much waste. I've had these markers now for well over a year and they're still going strong, so there's quite a lot of ink in there, and like I said, you can just scribble on a little at a time, so there's really not much waste at all. So now I'm just getting that door, trying to avoid the life preserver so that I can color that in separately. So for the sand, I'm going to take some antique linen and I'm going to scribble a good amount of that on there. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a larger brush, and this time I'm going to wet the paper first because I really want to get a soft blend. I'm not going for detail anymore. I'm going for a nice wash of color. And then I'll just touch down with that pigment and kind of let it spread around and do its thing. Kind of want a sand dune type shape, so I'm painting that in now. I'm going to add some more of that antique linen. We'll do a little bit of the vintage photo. We'll just water it way down. That's the other nice thing about this watercoloring with these distress markers, is that you can get a lot of different values from the color just by adding more or less water. So continuing to just lay that in, spread that color around. Adding some darker color right around those little sand grains, just to kind of emphasize that. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. So my little shack here is dry enough for me to go ahead and start to do those details. So I'm going to pick up some spice marmalade that I've scribbled out here, and I'm going to very carefully color in the little life preserver with that really fine detail brush. And then I'm going to also color in these little flags. I'm going to do one in the spiced marmalade. We'll do one in fired brick and one in peeled paint. And now we can do our ocean slash sky. So I'm going to take some broken china and scribble on a good amount of that. And then I will also take some tumbled glass, and we'll do that as well. And then we're going to do the same type of thing that we did for our sand. Just spreading that around, going right up alongside the lines where we want that ink to stop blending. We're going to try to make it look like an ocean that fades into the sky. So right up alongside of that sand, we're going to lay down our darkest color. With that broken china. And you see how that just skirts along the edge of where we put the water down? Okay, and then before that has a chance to dry, we're going to start to fade that out. Add a lot more water and kind of just spread that out, lightening up as we go towards the top. It's better to start light and then to go darker in layers. You can always add more color, but it's a little bit harder to take color away. While it's wet, you can still dab with a paper towel or a dry baby wipe, but once it's dry, it's definitely harder to move around. So I'm going to let that dry and then we'll finish our card. Okay, so now that that's dry, I'm going to take the Lawn Fawn Stitch Journaling card die, and that's what I want to cut out my image with. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of Post-it tape and I'm going to tape that down just where I want it. Okay. And now I'm going to take my sentiment, which is home is where the anchor drops. And I'm going to ink that up with my VersaFine as well. Kind of just walking my fingers over the words to make sure all the ink transfers. And now I'm going to go ahead and die cut that out. So now I can go ahead and peel off that tape and pop my image out of the die cut. And there we have our focal image. So to assemble the card, I've got a piece of Crafter's Companion craft cardstock here that's folded into a standard size card. And I've taken 2 sheets of paper from this Down by the Shore 6x6 pad. This is by Fancy Pants, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my card front. I've already layered those together. Okay, once I'm happy with that, I can press that into place. I'm going to grab a little foam tape so I can just peel off the backers and get that lined up on my card front. I'm just going to take this Faber-Castell Pit Artist pen and I'm going to draw in a couple of seagulls. Just little M shapes. There we go. Okay, so for my final step, I've gone ahead and cut down some of this decorative trim. It's this kind of woven cord, and it does unravel quickly, so I kind of stuck a large glue dot on there and then twisted the ends shut to get that, to keep it from fraying. Now if I had thought about this ahead of time, we could have used a whole piece and stuck it under there at once, but since I didn't, we'll just go ahead and make do here. So I'm using the ends of my scissors to just kind of shove that under the focal panel. Kind of tuck that there. Kind of run it around the top. Like I said, I'm wedging that into the foam adhesive, but I will also add a little bit more adhesive underneath that once I have everything in place just how I want it. And get that Okay, and now I will take a little bit of Ranger Multimedia Matte. This is a really strong adhesive, and it dries completely clear and matte, and it's super strong. So I'm just going to put a dot of that at each end, a little bit over there, squirt right there, and then another squirt right under this knot as well. And that is our finished card. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more videos all month long using the Sweet Stamp Shop products as I guest design with them for the month of August. See you next time. Bye-bye.